where dreams come from. Director Steven Sspielberg invites you to discover the secret.
I catch dreams.
There are bad dreams here too.
Stand back, gal. Your adventure is just beginning.
I'm going to call you BFG.
BFG's world is certainly not part of the fabric of ours. Literally, BFG's world is off the map, certainly off our maps. And so Sophie goes on this tremendous adventure in a land that she's never experienced before. And it's a land that's both terrestrial and, I guess, a little beyond nature.
It was the witching hour, when the boogeyman comes out.
Being able to escape into the world of dreams and imaginations and no rules. That's a dream in itself. The BFG is one of Roald Dahl's best books. There's so much imagination and adventure, and it's certainly a book beloved the world around.
What kind of a monster are you?
You think that I'm a man-gobbling cannibal?
Dahl, in literature, you know, had a different voice than Disney, but he still went to those very slippery slopes of scaring us, and then in the same breath, before the air could refill our lungs, making us smile.
What is this place?
Giant country.
What Disney did was Disney would certainly embrace the darkness, because you really, what's a fairy tale without a dark center?
There are bad dreams here too.
Yeah. Run, Sophie. Hide.
You has a delicious little bean.
There's a certain style of writing that Roald Dahl has to his stories where they're not just happy-go-lucky fantasies. There's a little bit of a dark side and a lot of humor to them, but he also, you know, walks on the edge where they're a little bit scary and they're a little dark. And I think that's what attracts people to them.
Without that dark center, where's the redemption? And how do you bring all of us from the bowels of a nightmare into the most beautiful, enchanting dream we've ever seen? Disney was famous for that with Bambi and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and certainly Dumbo, and so many of his genius stories, sort of one of the, you know, principal ingredients to my upbringing.
I dreamt that girls and boys were being snatched out of their beds in boarding schools and were being eaten by the most ghastly giants. There was so many of them. There was the flesh lump eater, and the gizzard gulper, and the meat dripper, and the
Butcher boy?
butcher boy. Oh.
Very dark dreamer when I was a kid, and I was attracted to what scared me. And things that really scared me pulled me to it. And so I was a pretty weird kid growing up.
Please don't eat me.
You has me wrong.
You snatched me.
Yeah, well, there you has me right.
One of the things we really like about the story is that at first you think, oh, the BFG is taking her and he's kidnapping her and taking her out to this place and what's going to happen. So it's a little bit scary at first, but then you realize he's the big friendly giant. So he's nice and he's sweet, and he and Sophie develop this relationship that's really wonderful, where they're sort of helping each other along the way and learning from each other. And then we discover, though, that the BFG has 9 much larger brothers.
Is you at home, Ron?
I got the call directly from Stíven. It was insane. I was driving in my car, and I get a phone call saying, Steven Spielberg on the line. I was like, and I had met Stíven at SNL, so I kind of knew him a little bit. But he called and just said, you know, I'm doing this movie, The BFG, and you familiar with it? And I said, I haven't read it, but I was about to read it to my daughter, and then he kind of told me the story and what they were doing with it, and he said, you know, there's these giants, and I would love for you to be one.
You is jabbering. Who is you jabbering to, Runt? Why is you such a chat bag in the morning?
Why is you not sleeping today?
Because you keep me awake with your jabbering.
We've been working with this great guy, Terry, who's been showing us how to walk like a giant, because we're about 50 feet tall, and so the atmosphere treats you differently, and you know, your weight and how you know, my character kind of has this head, you know, his neck's probably been broken once or twice, so he's kind of, you know.
I has a boo-boo.
Oh, possibly later.
Now, run!
Never mind. Right, I'll just have to fetch some water.
Very interesting process of finding the giant, working with Terry, finding your character, making each character incredibly distinct, and then getting out and doing the scene. So you've done all this work, and then when you do it, it just kind of just comes right together.
Give me it. Give it here.
Does you have a new little petty poo?
Stíven is one of those directors that really understands innocence in childhood, but at the same time brings that sophisticated, more mature lens to the storytelling.
That makes BFG special because it was my escape into what I think I kind of do best, which is just let my imagination run away with itself.
Technology doesn't scare Stíven. He in some ways, he pushes us more than we push ourselves. I mean, he's a driving force, and he doesn't back away from the technology. He doesn't just sort of like shy away from it and say, all right, just make it work and I'll figure it out later. He's the first one to pick up the virtual camera and start laying virtual cameras onto shots, and he uses the technology for a variety of uses.
Motion capture technology and just digital animation and digital technology can make the dreams of filmmakers come true and storytellers come true today, more than it ever could before.
I think what I get excited about every day is coming to the set and seeing what Stíven's gonna do. He's so creative, and he's working in this new world that he's just discovering, and he's having fun.
He said to everybody, if we play our cards right and everybody does their jobs right, maybe after 10 or 15 minutes, the audience will forget they're watching any special effects at all, and they'll realize this is a relationship story between two creatures.
His enthusiasm and his passion is catching to everybody. And I think when you see him get excited every day, we all get excited every day.
Where are you going?
To work.
What do you do for work?
Oh, now you's asking me to tell you whoopsie big secrets.
I won't tell a soul. How could I anyway? I'm stuck here for the rest of my life.
I catch dreams.
I've directed at every studio, except Walt Disney. This was the first time, and I'm really proud of that.
You is staying here.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You is human being, and human being is like straw bunkles and cream to those giants out there, so you're gonna stay in a nice, safe place right here.
Steven Spielberg approached me on the set of Bridge of Spies and asked me if I'd read BFG.
Mark had such profound range as an actor. And I wanted the BFG to look super photorealistic.
I was hearing all the secret whisperings of the world.
And the only way I could capture that was to animate him based on Mark's performance.
What's in those jars?
Dreams.
Dreams aren't things.
Is that right?
Mark, as the BFG, really touched my heart.
It all comes down to imagination in the end.
Mark becomes the BFG every day on the set. And because he is such a wonderful actor, he brings the character to life, even in the motion capture world. So we have a real character. So when Sophie is acting with the BFG, it's like the BFG is real, and they have eye contact, they're communicating, and they're in the same space. So it is like we're shooting a real movie with a giant and a little 10-year-old girl.
Man, he's unreal. I mean, he'll do scenes, and he'll do adjustments, too, to a scene, because Stíven will throw you a big curveball sometimes, especially if you prepared something, and he'll go, well, you know what if we try it 180 degrees the other way? Go, you know? And to watch Mark digest that and do it is really, and just nail it, is really cool to watch. I'm like more of an audience member when Mark is performing. I'm just like...
But why did you bring me here? Why did you take me?
Well, I had to take you. Because the first thing you'd be doing, you'd be scuttling around and yodeling the news that you were actually seeing a giant. And then there would be a great rumple-dumpus, wouldn't there? And all the human beings would be rummaging and whiffling for the giant what you saw and getting wildly excited, and then they'd be locking me up in a cage to be looked at with all the squiggling, you know, hippo dumplings and crocodile dillies and jiggy raves. And then there would be a gigantic look-see giant hunt for all of the boys.
I won't tell. No one would listen to me anyway. I'm an untrustworthy child.
Roald Dahl invented an entire giant country language.
Gobblefunk is the language for the giants. Trogglehoppers, golden fizz wizards.
Figures are figglers.
Something's not delicious, it's delumptious.
Snozcumber is a giant, like, kind of gross vegetable.
Like a rotten cucumber.
They call people human beings.
Who is you jabbling to?
He's always talking about BFGs, jabbling. He's talking.
It's a fizz wizard. I don't be seeing many of them anymore.
It's behind you on your elbow. No, not that elbow, the other one. Now it's on your foot. Other foot.
Roald Dahl's stories are whimsical and funny and lighthearted. They often have a serious center to them. And Stíven's one of those directors that's uniquely talented at being able to tell those kind of stories.
One of the things that was interesting to us was that we knew of Roald Dahl, we knew of his other books, but we didn't know about the BFG. So we immediately went and got a copy of it, and then when we read it, we realized that it was right in the sweet spot of Roald Dahl's works.
Roald Dahl certainly had his own voice, unlike anyone else's who had written books for entire families. But he also subscribed to the tradition and the traditional technique of empowering children by giving them ambitions and dreams far beyond the age of the intended readership, and letting these kids kind of grow up with lofty ambitions.
I lives with 9 evil giants.
You shouldn't let them treat you like that. We have to stop them.
It goes against all my better judgmentals, gal.
Well, I'm right about this one.
This be the story of a little gal. There'll be great adventures and laughter.
I hope this movie inspires kids to chase their dreams, and I hope it inspires adults to remember theirs.
Hello, Israel.
Times will be hard, times will be soft. So hold your breaths, cross your fingers, here we go.